Hello, Inmendham. I'm the masked... Wait 1 second. I'm having a bit of an identity crisis, folks. I just can't figure out. I just can't decide. Am I the Blue Boring guy? Or am I the Masked Avenger? Or wait, maybe I'm the Masked Fucktard. I just can't decide. Well, let's get the introduction then and move on. Before I go on into the meat of what I want to discuss, I want to clear up a couple of things. Inmendham, at about 3 minutes into a video that you made toward Mel entitled Ray, Inmendham, and the DMCA, you went on a rant for a little bit, and the implication was that you were upset with me because I had accused you of filing frivolous lawsuits. Or at least that's what it looked like to me. It looked like you thought that I had said that you'd filed frivolous lawsuits. Now, to my knowledge, I never made that claim that any of the lawsuits that you've already filed are frivolous. Now, maybe this one that you're going to file is frivolous. I'm not really sure. I would certainly entertain the possibility that it will eventually be ruled frivolous, but I'm not going to say for sure. However, I really don't think that I have said that any of your previous ones, the ones that you've actually filed, are frivolous. Now, if you can find anywhere that I have said that, please let me know, post a link, and I will make a retraction. You see, I just haven't really studied your previous lawsuits in any real depth to even have an opinion one way or the other. So if I did say something, then I'm going to apologize. Post a link to me and I'll make the apology. Okay, second thing to clarify. Back in January, there was a bit of an argument going on between you and Tommy from the Bronx about The Amazing Atheist. I'm going to go into that in a little more detail in a few moments. And I made a response. I wasn't allowed to post it at that time because someone had gotten me suspended by filing false DMCAs against me. And so I made a response, and Fakesagan was kind enough to post it on his channel. And in that response, I said that you couldn't possibly win a libel case because if you sued someone for libel, well, you were posting behind an alias, and Inmendham wasn't your real name. Now, when I made that video, I didn't realize that your name had been released on YouTube and that a number of people did indeed know who the person is behind the Inmendham alias. Well, I know that now, and so I would like to retract that statement. I don't think that that would be a bar for your bringing a successful libel suit. There are plenty of other reasons why I don't think your libel suit would win, but that is no longer an obstacle for you, and so I retract that statement. Now let me get into the meat of this video. This whole controversy basically boils down to that photoshopped image that you don't like, Gary, the one that showed you with your face looking like Adolf Hitler. And you're going to sue for libel over that. I know you use the word slander. I think the word libel is more appropriate, but as I said before, let's not get into that because the elements that you would have to prove are substantially the same. And you use this to justify your DMCA. I'm going to ignore for the time being whether the DMCA is the proper vehicle for your lawsuit. I say it isn't. You're using copyright law for something it was never intended for, but that's a subject for a different video. Right now, I want to look at the reason behind the picture and your interpretation of the picture. Now, BCJ was very clear in that video that he featured the picture in, and he clearly stated that the reason he made that picture was because you are a bully, that you're blocking people, and he doesn't like the way you conduct yourself on YouTube. He didn't say it was because you are an anti-Semite or that you hate Jews. Now, I looked through some of his other videos, and in one video of his recently, he did indeed say that he thought that you told a story that bordered on anti-Semitic. Now, he was kind of nebulous on that, and he definitely, I'm almost sure that I am sure he use the word that it bordered on. You didn't say that. He did not say it crossed over into anti-Semitism. And even if he had said it, it's one thing to say that you told a story that was anti-Semitic, and another thing to say that you hate Jews. One is more extreme than the other. But as far as I can tell, he never accused you of hating Jews or wanting to kill them or do away with them. He had a Photoshop of a Hitler because it's very common usage, extremely common, to say that someone who's a bully is a fascist. And what better way to portray a fascist than the #1 fascist, which is Adolf Hitler? One thing that I find ludicrous, absolutely ridiculous even, is the notion that someone is going to base their opinion of you on a photoshopped image. It boggles my mind, really. I do not derive my opinion based on a photoshopped image, and I can't think of too many people who do. Let me ask you a question. If some of your supporters started photoshopping picture of angel wings on you with a halo above you, do you think that anybody is seriously going to consider that this is evidence that you are some sort of a saint? Hallelujah! Inmendham is here to save the world. He's such a great guy. I mean, he is flawless. I mean, he is without sin, or as close as one could possibly get amongst us mortal men and women. Do you think anyone's mind works that way? Do you think anyone for a minute would be convinced that you're a wonderful guy just because someone painted Photoshop some angel wings and a halo on you? Well, if you really think that way, then your best way of curing the situation, rather than bringing a libel suit, which in the best of circumstances will take months, probably years to drag out, your best way of correcting the situation is to start flooding YouTube with pictures of yourself with angel wings and halos. But of course, nobody thinks that way. So that's one thing. Another thing is, why is it that you were photoshopped to made to look like Adolf Hitler, whereas as far as I know, virtual Holocaust wasn't? If anything, I think virtual Holocaust may be more questioning of the Holocaust, or more questioning of the traditional notion of the Holocaust, that it was a deliberate movement by Adolf Hitler to exterminate a large percentage of the Jews and other undesirables. Virtual Holocaust seems to be even more questioning of this than you are, Inmendham. Why is it that it was your head that was made to look like Adolf Hitler and not virtual Holocaust? I'll tell you why. It's because virtual Holocaust has conducted himself in a civil manner. He hasn't tried to bully people around, whereas you have. Now, let's get into some of that history of bullying. Now, certain aspects of your bullying are so obvious that they don't require in-depth analysis. For example, your abusive language toward others. You're calling those who disagree with you or who question you in the least fucktards or assholes or whatever. Even more so, your quickness at threatening legal action against people or dragging them into court, or making their lives miserable in one way or another if they don't back down. Now, for most people, if you call them a liar, they're going to do one of several things. They're either going to ignore you if you were to call them a liar. They'll laugh it off. They'll consider that you are so inconsequential that you don't deserve a response. Or they may make a video response showing that they are not a liar at all. They can provide evidence. And the best way to counter speech you don't like is to provide counter speech. And most people would be content at that. Or they just slough it off and say it's not worth my time or what have you. But no, not you. If somebody calls you a liar, then you threaten to drag them into court unless they knuckle down. So that's a bit of a bullying aspect. It may be legal, but it is bullying nonetheless. Now let me review some events that happened back in January. Around that time, the amazing atheist's father died, and you made a video in which you apparently tried to sympathize, to give your condolences to the amazing atheist, but through awkwardness, I would attribute it to you. Through awkwardness on your part, you told a story that was what most people would consider extremely disrespectful of his father. You told a story of how he skipped out on paying a restaurant bill and threw money at a waiter. Now, that's the type of story that you don't talk about the dead right after they die. It's disrespectful to the survivors. But that didn't stop you. Now, Tommy from the Bronx took you to task for this. There was another squabble about Jesus Freak also, but this is the Reader's Digest version. But Tommy from the Bronx took you to task for this. He said that your apology was insincere, that you were just trying to get views or subscribers out of this. And you made a video insisting that it was sincere. And Tommy made another video, I believe, calling you a liar. And that really set you off. Now the thing is, unbeknownst to Tommy, you had made a video just before he made his video calling you a liar. You had made a video explaining that you featured a video by Cho Sung Hui on your channel, and this video was mocking the amazing atheist and his father. And Tommy assumed that because you had featured this video, that you were lying, that your condolences about his father's death was totally insincere. Now, you made a video, as I mentioned, explaining that the reason you featured Cho Sung Hui's video is because Tommy from the Bronx, the amazing atheist, had favorited a video attacking you, I believe. So you had a reason, and you had changed your mind. But when you originally made the condolence video, you insisted you were really sincere. Well, Tommy from the Bronx didn't know about this, and he called you a liar, and that set you off. I am going to post some links to some videos if people want to review the record. I'll post some links in the sidebar. And not only did this tick you off, but you threatened to take Tommy to court. And in one video, and I can't show you Tommy's video. I can't show you Tommy's video directly, which called you a liar, but Fakesagan reposted it, so I'll post a link to that as well. One of the videos that I will link to in the sidebar is called Big Drama. Fucking faker for funny fun. And this is a video in which you threatened to sue Fakesagan for reposting that video, and you threatened to sue YouTube if they didn't turn over his personal information to you. Now, I don't know whether that lawsuit, whether you actually filed that lawsuit or what its status is. I really don't know where it is, what the status is, and maybe you can inform us of that. But one thing that I found particularly interesting in that video, I want people to look starting at 4 minutes and 32 seconds into that video. You threatened to get use your lawsuit to get some information on a drama that had absolutely nothing to do with your lawsuit. Fakesagan had, a few days prior to this video, Fakesagan had accused CapnOAwesome of blocking him. And so you wanted to find out whether Fakesagan was lying about that. Now, because you said that that might be something you would explore in your lawsuit, it had absolutely nothing to do with whether Fakesagan was lying about you or not. I don't know, maybe if you had actually tried to do that in your lawsuit, maybe a judge might have considered it frivolous. It was going well outside the scope of your lawsuit. Now, there's another video that I want people to watch of yours. It's called Big Drama, Small Update Just for the Jerks. And they only need to watch the first maybe few minutes of it. And in that video, you explain in detail why you are so upset when people call you a liar and why you're going to bring them to court. And all this is very interesting because just within the past week, you accused somebody else of being a liar. Now, in your favor, I must note that you didn't call them by name, so we don't know exactly who it was. But you were quick to accuse someone of lying in that you said that they had commented, and in their comment they said that you had sent them a PM in which you said some sort of shit, and you say now that you don't send PMs to people, to random people like that, and that you never, in fact, did make that PM. And you accused this guy of lying about it. You accused him of being a liar for saying that you sent him a PM. Now that's interesting, especially since a few seconds later you said, well, this guy probably was sent a PM by someone with a fake Inmendham name, like they use an extra M or something like that in your name. If that's the case, if that's the hypothesis you're working under, then you really should have said that he was confused. You shouldn't have called him a liar. But hey, that's what bullies do. Now let me go into one other aspect of your bullying. You call people names on your channels. You certainly question their integrity on your channel. You can be very nasty in your videos, and yet you block, you said, I believe, 200 people from commenting on your channels. What this means is that people cannot respond to your accusations or to your picture of events on your channel. They cannot respond to you in the venue in which you make your statements about them. This is censorship, pure and simple. Now, admittedly, it's minor censorship. It's not censorship on a grand scale, but it is censorship nonetheless. Now, you might say, I know Fakesagan has made this argument, and I would respectfully disagree with him, but you might say, look, my channel's like my living room. Can't I control my guest who comes into my living room? Can't I block somebody who I don't like from coming into my living room? Well, the thing is, if you're going to comment on other people, if you're going to talk about other people, you should at least allow them to respond in the venue in which you comment on them. And you could say, well, look, they're free to make their own videos, and they can respond that way. They don't have to come onto my video and make their comments. Well, yes, but if they make their own videos, people may or may not necessarily see them, especially if they don't have many subscribers. That's one aspect. Secondly, let me ask you to do a thought experiment. If you were to say that just blocking people from my channel isn't censorship, what if you had a magic button which could block people from not just your channel but one other channel? Would that be censorship? Okay? Let's make that button a little more powerful. Let's say you could block people from responding to 50 channels, that people couldn't post comments on 50 channels. Would that be censorship? Okay, let's have this button take its vitamins and become even more powerful. Say you could block people from 500 channels, from 5,000 channels, from 500,000 channels. Exactly where does it become censorship? What if you could block them from all the channels of YouTube so they couldn't comment at all? Would that be censorship? Hey, what if you could get their account suspended so they couldn't be on YouTube at all? Would that be censorship? Well, you could argue that the internet is a huge place. They could always post a video on Live Video or Live Leak or Vimeo or countless of other sites. But still, they couldn't post it where it matters most on YouTube. Where exactly do you draw the line and say it's censorship? Oh, I understand. It's okay. I have no objections if you block people who are truly, truly abusive. Those people are going to be few and far between. Somebody who posts your address, for example, that certainly is worthy of blocking. Somebody who reveals private information, that certainly is worthy of blocking. Someone who's genuinely abusive. But when you start talking about blocking 200 people, you're going well beyond just blocking people who are obnoxious and abusive. You're blocking people who have legitimate thoughts that are contrary to you, and that is censorship and that is bullying. Now let me review something from about a year ago. I think it happened around last August. Evidently someone posted a short video releasing your personal information, and they attached that video as a response, I guess, to a virtual Holocaust video. He went under the name, I think, X Hard Drive XXX or something like that back then. And you didn't like this, and you didn't like the fact that virtual Holocaust, I'm going to call him virtual Holocaust, you didn't like the fact that he didn't break the link, that he didn't reject that as a video response. And so you told everybody that unless they unsubscribed from virtual Holocaust, you would block them. Think about that. If people wanted to watch virtual Holocaust videos, they have every right to, whether or not he was being obnoxious in not rejecting the video. Now, I don't want to say that I don't want you to get the impression that I think that the video in question that released your name was okay. It certainly wasn't. That sounds like a really obnoxious thing to do. But even if virtual Holocaust approved it, and I'm not saying that he did approve it, even if he had allowed this to go on, what you're doing is you're bullying virtual Holocaust. That's one thing. But you're taking it to other people. You're telling other people who are not directly involved who they can and cannot subscribe to. That, my friend, is bullying. It's because you're a belligerent, authoritarian, controlling bully in Inmendham that BCJ made that video with a picture of the Hitler mustache photoshopped onto your face. And that is what he stated in the video. And again, I ask you, if it's because of your views on the Holocaust, if that was the reason, or if the reason was because he thought you were an anti-Semite, that you hated Jews, why didn't he Photoshop a picture of virtual Holocaust? Answer me that question. It's because you're a bully, and until you change your attitude, I think that other people are going to be passing around that picture until that attitude is changed. Now, your response to the situation, to threaten to drag BCJ into court or to try and get his account suspended, is not the best way of going about it if you are trying to dispel this notion of you as a bully, or, in the terms of the internet, a fascist. Well, this has been the Masked Analyst, or maybe that's the Masked Avenger, or is it the Blue Fucktard, or whatever. Well, whatever. Under and in.